G'day viewers, how's it going? Well, you probably saw the last little minute and a bit clip. That sort of explains it all. Why I haven't really done anything. The previous few weeks have not been very kind, understandably. Since I have had that phone call in mid-December, sort of threw me back a bit, because I wasn't really expecting anything like that. But when I got my little phone call, just to be on your toes in case something does happen. Well, it actually did. From there it threw me right out. I had to sit back and play the waiting game, and what I mean by that was Dad did fall over. He broke the ball joint in his hip, not the hip joint, the ball joint on his femur, big main bone. That actually shattered. Doctor's done a good job, got him back together, and from there he turned around and made a sort of recovery, good recovery from that. But I do emphasise but. There was also the other two issues where he broke his shoulder, collarbone, and also 3 ribs. And in his state, he couldn't really work out why. He can't get up, can't do things. And from there on, it was just a case of managing his pain. That happened mid-December, and from there, when I did get the phone call to say what had happened, I had many messages, call. So I did, and from there, done very erratic videos because of it, just trying to get my head around a lot of it. Good start to a long-term stay here. Wasn't really. Yeah, so grit the old teeth, suck it up and just go with the flow and see what happens. I made a decision to stay because going back, and even as far as the doctors were concerned, there was no end date, want for a better word, that could move on, or he'd still be with us, albeit in a very poor state. So, like I mentioned, I did make the decision to stay here rather than go back and wait and see. I don't think that was not going to change anything. It was not going to do anything. So the agreement was, when it finally does, as hard as that decision was to make, I made it, and that was that. Not the best thing to say, to do, but in the grand scheme of things, there was not a thing anybody could do to change what was going to happen. With that, every little toss and turn, I got comments on, calls on, and that sort of, reiterated, no, really, I could have gone back and just sat around and twiddled my thumbs and just waiting, because there was nothing else to do. I had done everything I had to do back at home to be here long term. So I would just sat there and sat there. But I don't think that would have done my brain any good. The reason I made this long stay here was to get away from it all and just have a complete change of scenery. Yes, Dad was in a nursing home. Dad is very aged. 6 days short of his 91st birthday. Yes, with that he came. He was still sort of Dad, but that fall and going to hospital wasn't the best of any sort of situation. We just had to make the most of it. So we did, and with that, he had a good recovery through the operation, as I mentioned before, and from there he healed quite well as far as the doctors were concerned. As I said, pain management, and the doctors were all happy and explaining fully well and on what the eventual outcome would be, which we all knew, but no one knew exactly when. So with that, Dad made it back to the nursing home, where he was in familiar surroundings and where everybody could get to him quite easily. With that came the continuous calls. It stopped from basically every day, because there was no need for every day. There was no noticeable change other than him trying to get up, but in his brain not knowing what's going on, why can't I do this, but his body's not allowing him to do it for the reasons that it happened, what had happened to him. From there, it was a weekly thing for the next couple of weeks. So we took that. Downside had happened. Downside was just after Mum's birthday, so we didn't want that. It was just before Christmas, just as schools had finished for the Victorian school holidays, so everybody was happy, wanting to be in a good place. So fortunately he survived everything, got through Christmas, and that was the biggest wish we could make. He got through Christmas so that no one had a Christmas in the future knowing that that's when Dad moved on. From there, he actually made it through, surprisingly to me, after seeing video and everything of him, he made it through past New Year. Happy as Larry for that. And then from there, they're all doing everything they can. The call that I did get was that he's not really doing too well, so that's the scenario we knew was going to happen. From out of that, local Melbourne time, 4:05, I got the phone call. That was 12:05 here. Dad had moved on. Trying to keep it together here. It's not easy being so far away, but needing to be far away from everything that happened over the last 14 years. Anyway, so from there, sort of got through the rest of the afternoon. It's blur. I don't remember much on Friday the 5th of January. But I managed to get through. Started searching for flights last minute. That's where the next nightmare sort of came through, getting something. But I did make it back, because the law state that I have to be there, notified, all that, sign off, as I was with the main, well, I was only, how should I put it? I had to be there to sign off, be there for everything, and they couldn't process anything until I was there, being relative, one of the two relatives, close relatives, myself and my sister. So I managed to get back on an Air Asia flight. That's another story in itself. But anyway, that's where it stood. That's the reason why there's been absolutely nothing, or next to nothing, happened, trying to keep my head together over the last couple of weeks. Done absolutely nothing new other than the one you saw recently. That was just me getting back. I do have another one actually flying back. You would have seen that by now. That'll be attached to possibly this. I don't know how I'll go with it, but I get my head around to getting back into it. I'm still not in the right headspace to do a lot of things. I've been back. Today is the 20th. So I actually flew in, I left on the 18th, arrived on the 18th, that was a 13-hour flight, Malaysian Airlines, pretty good. Done the 13-hour trip, so I managed to get that one. And getting my head around a lot of the stuff that was there that I had to do sort of threw me right out. I couldn't believe yesterday, because today's Saturday the 20th, how tired I really was. Just needed that space to unwind. But anyway, that's where I've been, that's what's been happening. Thanks for watching, and catch you.